everybody, it's Donna. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am just going to do a video on making some backgrounds because I'm not sure what we're going to do with these backgrounds yet. This is something I've seen a lot of people do. A very good video to watch is Sam over at Mixed Up Craft because she did it as well. But several people have done it. So I'm going to take some. This is a herringbone background. It's really simple and it's actually really fun to do. You can use up your scraps, for instance. These are some of my scraps I've already cut. I have made some backgrounds using them, but we're going to use some of the more current DSP. These two sheets are not Stampin' Up. They're just something from my stash, but I thought they kind of went good with these colors that I picked out. Okay, so what we have to do is we need to cut these. Now, you can cut them in any width. I'm going to try to keep them fairly close together. My original ones, I did them at 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. This is what we're going to be making. So we're doing the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch strips. I think for this one, I'm going to stick more to the 1/4 inch strips, but we'll see how it goes. It doesn't really matter how. You can have them any width. It doesn't really matter because you're just laying them down. It's not like you have to join them end to end. Like you don't have to join them this way, end to end, like that. So it doesn't really matter what width you're using. It probably looks amazing to have them all different widths. But for me, I'm going to stick with, I think, the 1/4 inch width. So I'm just going to bring over my big paper trimmer. It was probably too big to fit in the screen, but. And I'm going to cut a couple of them at the same time. Now these are both double-sided, and I'll probably use both sides, which is kind of cool. These are 6 by 6 inch pads, so I know that rather than trying to find 1/2 inch on this side, it's easier for me to find it for 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever, on this side. So I know it's a 6 by 6. So my first one is actually going to be 1/2 inch because I'm just going to go to the 5.5 inch mark, and then push them. I am doing 2 at a time, and then I'm going to push it down to by 1/4 inch less. You can see what I mean here. I find that's a lot easier. But again, they don't have to be precisely 1/4 inch. Just so I don't make the video too long, I am going to speed this up. And I'm not going to do the whole sheet of paper. Okay, so that's the end of cutting up. I think that should get us quite a few backgrounds. Now what I need is a piece of Whisper White cardstock. Well, it doesn't have to be Whisper White. It can be whatever color you want, but Whisper White is what I have the most of. And I need some double-sided adhesive to put on the back of it because it's a lot easier doing double-sided adhesive than trying to use glue or liquid glue or anything like that. Okay, so here's my double-sided adhesive. I think I'm going to use. I actually want to use do a full sheet. So I think I have one. I don't know what kind this is, but I'm going to use that rather than the Sizzix because the Sizzix is 6 inches by 12, and I want something that's 8.5 by 11. And actually, I'm going to move my work surface back in. It's just easier for me because I can line things up better on there. Okay. And I'm going to take, I want my whole piece of cardstock because I'm going to do basically a full card front, 5.5 by this didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out, but okay. Usually it sticks to this side, not that side. Anyways, we want to be able to cut this into 4 card fronts. Now we'll trim them down to an actual 5 1/4 by 4, but I prefer to stick with the higher amount, the larger size, because I am going to trim it down. So it's just easier. Attach the first part, and I'm just going to tear off the rest of it. Now I'm just going over to my paper trimmer. I'm going to trim that down into 4 pieces. And then we'll start with the first one. Okay, I'm going to take off the backing. So now our cardstock will be completely sticky. And I'm going to look for the starting ones, I want them to be fairly dark, and that's one of the reasons why I picked out these darker ones from the non-Stampin' Up stash. And I want them to be distinct and separate. I want you to really be able to see them. This one would do as well. I think I'm going to go with this one. Okay, so we want to block off our paper. We want it to be in 4 sections. Doesn't really matter as long as you go right across from one end to the other. And now we're doing a herringbone, so we're not going to line them up like this. We're going to block it off on each side now, just using the edge and going right up to it. And it doesn't really matter where, I just want them to be kind of opposite. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'm going to trim this one off because I think there's enough to do the other side. And I don't want it here, I want it somewhere else, like down here. And now we have our 4 sections blocked off. Okay, now just so you can see the herringbone, you want to kind of separate, have light against dark and that kind of stuff. I want more of my lighter colors in here, so I'm going to start with this one. And I'm just laying it right down there. I'm not going to bother cutting it off just yet. Then I'm going to pick another color. Like maybe this one, or pattern really, and go the other way. Try to get it as close or right up to the other one. Sometimes I do find I do see a little bit of glue, but if I do see like the adhesive in the background, I just don't want it to be too sticky, so I can use my anti-static powder tool on that. Okay, and then we're going to turn it and go this way. I actually think I would prefer some more colors or patterns, but we'll see how it goes. To cut more, I'll cut more. I just don't want this one again in there. Is that the same? I think it might be. And that's what we're going to do all the way around. So I'll speed through the first one and I'll be back with some samples. Okay, I have to do a quick little voiceover for this part. Apparently there was some construction noise in the background that made it difficult to hear. So these are the backgrounds that I produced. That was from the Flowers for Every Season DSP. And then that's one that we just did. Now a little trick to making these really super smooth is to take a piece of typing paper, or well, I guess today's term would be printer paper. So I'm showing my age there. And put your piece in it. Just fold it over and put it in it and run it through your die cut machine without any dies or anything like that. Just as if you were cutting out something. And it will make it super, super smooth. It actually makes it almost like it's one piece now. I also cut off the extra pieces around the outside edge, as well as trimmed them down to 5 1/4 by 4, so that they're ready to be card friends. And now I'm just going to go off and I'm going to make a couple of cards out of them, and I will be right back. Okay, so I am back with a few cards that I made, and all I used was 2 of the panels, the backgrounds, the blue one and the green one. Or this is Misty Moonlight. This is going to be basically just Jade and some Bumblebee. What I did, I created 2 cards out of each background, and what I did is I used the stitched rectangles and I cut one out, but then I realized I still had this beautiful outline that was almost perfectly in the center. Like it was even on both sides. It wasn't perfect, but by the time I got finished decorating the card, you couldn't really tell that it wasn't perfect. Then I cut out the Just Jade stitched rectangle for the center, and I just kind of inlaid it right in there. And I did the same for this one. This one I created the frame using the 2 stitched rectangles and inlaid the piece inside of it. These are from leftovers from a project I did, lattice card from the Alphabet Inspiration Card Challenge, the letter L. And I still lots of those leftovers, so I just used those. Those are from the Forever Fern stamp set. And did the same thing with that. So that was those 2 cards out of one background. Then from the Misty Moonlight one, I did basically the same thing, only this one I put white so I could do some stamping with the Forever Fern. Put Happy Birthday on there. You can tell it is inlaid in there. And just put a little bow on it. And then this one, the same thing, it is inlaid in there. Or actually, this was not inlaid. This one I just cut out the frame, and then I used, so they both used the stitched rectangles, but this one I just put on top. I didn't inlay it. This die, I have no idea where it came from. I have a little drawer that I throw my dies and stamps in if I find them on my desk, if I haven't put them away, just so I don't lose them, and it was in that drawer. So these are the panels I've left over. This one I have an idea for, which I think I'm going to do a separate video for, and these ones are going to go in my stash of backgrounds for when I'm looking for something to do without, getting everything out. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope everybody is staying safe, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified each time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.